How can I trust that everything will be okay? I've been let down and disappointed so much in my life that I don't really know how to trust anymore. The future is completely unknown to me. I used to feel like I had some idea of what it would look like, but so far, that's been wrong. I'm terrified of being sad and lonely for the rest of my life. Welcome. This is Self-Control, How to Build a Better Life. This is the podcast that will inspire you to take control of your mind and your mindset to go forward and build the life that you want to live. What I just read was a public Facebook post made by a user in one of the men's mental health groups on Facebook that I'm a member of. And that is not a strange, or that is not an uncommon feeling for many of us. Despair, or at least a worry about the future, a problem with trusting that the future is going to be okay, especially if we've seen that our predictions for the future have not come to pass. I want to break down this post a little bit. I want to read the answer that I gave, and most importantly, I think that if you have problems with trust in the future, trust in yourself, if you maybe are uncertain about your future, and if you're scared of what life looks like going forward because of that unpredictability, I want to offer you whatever solutions I can. Again, I'm not coming from a place where I'm above any of this. This is something I deal with too, so let's talk about it. So I think first and foremost, when we talk about these problems of trust, right? His words are, how can I trust that everything will be okay? I've been let down and disappointed. I don't know how to trust anymore. That, to me, sounds a lot like a problem of the ego. So if you have problems with trust, problems with belief that because of negative experiences you've had in the past or negative things that you're going through right now, if that is leading to a belief that things in the future will be negative, that could well be a problem of your ego. Now, I did a 4-part series about the ego, how it works, how you can reframe your egoic beliefs, how you can heal your ego. The first episode was released on August 2nd. I would really, really encourage you, if you have problems with trust and problems with despair about the future, check out that series. From August 2nd, 4th, 6th, and I believe 8th as well. It was four episodes. But just really quickly, the ego focuses on negative experiences, and it does so to keep us safe. So it's very common for us to say, all this bad stuff has happened to me in the past. That's what life is. That's what's going to happen to me in the future. Now, without going too far down that road, again, I would recommend that you listen to previous episodes about the ego, but let's realize now, this focusing on negative experience, leading to the belief that future experiences will also be negative, has led to this trend of distrust, or what I would also call despair, that is giving up hope. So we can see how a trend of negative experiences and a trend of, sort of predicting our own future wrong would then lead to further worry, further concern for how the future is going to play out. The truth is that this is not really the case because, the future is not materially real, right? The future, we can say, yes, for all practical purposes, the future is coming. I will most likely be there. If I'm not there, then, problem solved in a sense. But the future is not materially real. The past is not materially real. What do I mean when I say this? Let's say that while we're here, grounded in the moment where we are in the present, at least in this day, this week, we could call the present. What's coming down the road for you in a year, 10 years, 50 years on your deathbed? It's not here now. It only exists inside your mind. And this is really a form of what I've talked about before of relational thinking. Thinking about things that are not real. Thinking about things that really you're relating your present state to a future state. Now, I spoke a lot about relational thinking in episodes from April 5th and April 28th, but suffice it to say, we are, when we worry about the future, doing battle with a ghost, with a monster, right? The old horror movie trope is that they don't show you the monster fully, maybe until the end. Just the same as whatever we think about the future is some construction in our mind based on likely this negative experience, negative information that we've taken in. So with that out of the way, I guess I would like to now just read my response to this gentleman. I said, "The future is uncertain to all. The future is also not materially real. So constant despair about it is a waste of time, frankly." Let's stop there. I mentioned that I did an episode on despair. That is the lack of hope. That episode came out on June 4th. If you have a problem with believing in your future, with you've given up hope in life, check out that episode from June 4th. It might help you start to get the wheels turning towards positivity if that's what you want. But the number one thing that we have to take away from this idea of giving up hope or this idea of constantly worrying, constant worry about anything actually reduces our cognitive capabilities, our ability to think clearly. Let's say that one more time and think about it. Constant worry about anything actually reduces our cognitive capabilities, our ability to think clearly. The more time we spend worrying, the deeper the hole we dig, right? The deeper that pit of despair that we dig, the more that we send our headspace, our mindset into that negative worrying, especially worrying about things that are not real, things that have not come to pass, things that we are creating, and things that, because of our ego's attempts to keep us safe and aware, are cast in a negative light. All the time spent on those things actually reduces our ability to think clearly. And what could we say about that? Think about that for a moment. All this time spent worrying, I can't think clearly, I can't solve problems. I'm not ready for the real challenges that come. I've made up these problems in my mind, things that have happened in my past, things that I think might be coming down the road for me. And now we can't see clearly into the moment. We can't see clearly what is challenging us presently. Okay, so if this is starting to sound a little too familiar, I know it is for me. Here's what I offered as solutions. I would suggest mindful control of your breathing, as well as making time to write as much as possible all these thoughts that are in your head. Start to visualize the future in a way that doesn't terrify you. That was his word. He's terrified of being sad and lonely for the rest of his life. Attend to things in the present as well as you can. Posture, diet, hygiene, work, exercise. See if living mindfully in the moment for some of each day can alleviate this fear of the unknown. Okay, let's break that down. Let's roll that back quickly. Number one, mindful control of the breath. I've said it before on the show. I'm sure you know it as well as I do. When we take mindful control of our breathing, breathe from the diaphragm, it allows us to reset, to calm down the nervous system, right? Worry, negative energy, as much as it is happening on a cognitive, intellectual level, it has effects on us on a lower nervous system level. We have physical responses to this feeling. Through breathing, we can ground ourselves. We can sort of wake up in a sense and begin to think clearly about, realizing, look, if you just spent a few days only focusing on breath and still had your time to worry, you could still, I would say over time, begin to realize more and more how you are thinking, right? This control of breath goes hand in hand with beginning to think about what we're thinking. To reach out and say all these things in a Facebook post and to be so certain that you've got it wrong and your future is going to be hard and you're scared of what's coming. To me, it shows a pattern. It shows a pattern of cognitively thinking about these things, but also it shows a pattern of living in a stressed out state, living in a place where the nervous system feels under attack. And again, we see these problems of trust. We see this sort of impact on what's happened in the past, right? I got it wrong. I was abused. I was injured. I made plans. I made moves that didn't pan out for me. I know now that the future will not work out, just as my past has ruin my present is sure to ruin my future. Living in this is a self-inflicted stress state. Breathing is what can start to get us out. Now, I'll skip forward a little bit, and then I said, attend to things in the present as well as you can. Second to breathing, posture, sitting up straight, shoulders back, taking on the world, chin up, eyes up. You make eye contact with people when you talk to them. You breathe deeply through your nose. All of these little things bring us home to our body. And I'm not perfect at this stuff, right? This is stuff that I'm still working on, but the way we manage our physical body is really step one. If you're hunched over, if you're frowning, if you're fretting, if your eyes are down, your chin's down, you're breathing poorly, damn rights you're going to be scared of the future. Damn rights. I also suggested hygiene, work, exercise, whatever it is you're doing in your life. Now you're starting to manage your physical body. You're coming at the world upright and more forthrightly. Live in the moment for part of that day, right? Still have time to think about the future and the past, but when you're cleaning yourself, cleaning your house, doing your job, exercising, spending time with people, spending time online, talking shit in chat rooms, it doesn't matter. Be aware. Get out of that mindless state where you're not aware of all parts of your body and breath. Come into the moment and tell me, at least I've found, that does not change your mindset. When you are thinking about how you operate in the world, when you actually are taking accountability for your physical presence in the world, the future doesn't seem so scary because the future's coming, but I'm going to be there and I'm going to see it coming. And then to roll back and to sort of finish this off, I said, make time to write about all these thoughts that are in your head. Start to visualize the future in a way that doesn't terrify you. If you've been listening to this show, you know that this is a huge part of self-control and of building a better life. Taking the time to get the thoughts under control through breathing, through actively, mindfully thinking about what you're thinking and not letting negative thoughts be the dominant or just the default way in which we think, but also the thoughts that you are having, get them out onto paper, get them onto an audio recording that you listen to on a video. Start to think about what you're thinking. Start to realize, look, I'm so scared and terrified that I'm willing to go out on a public forum and say that I'm so afraid, I'm terrified. To me, there's a good amount of awareness there, but there needs to be more awareness. This is something I've struggled with. I'm willing to take my problems out to public, out to market, out to my friends. I need to spend a lot of time thinking about them. So write those things down and start to think, well, okay, what is it then that's happened in my past? What is it that has happened to me in the past that makes me think the future will be equally as bad? And now, could I write the opposite? Could I think to myself, what is it that's happened in the past that has happened, that is not going to happen again? What will it now look like going forward in the future when I'm free of that, right? It's like, yeah, I was in a bad relationship. That doesn't mean everybody I meet down the road is going to hurt me in the future. Maybe we can start to develop some courage that way. I felt this way myself. I'm trying to come up with solutions to help us all get out of or get away from or at least become aware of how our thoughts, specifically about what has happened and what is going to happen, thoughts about things that aren't real are allowing to strike terror into us in the present. It does not have to be this way. So again, if you have problems with despair, right? You've given up hope. You're worried about the future. Please check out the episode from June 4th of this year. If you believe that maybe you have problems trusting because of things that have happened to you in the past, I urge you to check out the series of episodes on the ego starting August 2nd of this year. And if you spend a lot of time specifically worrying about the future, the past, what your friends think about you, what other people are doing, or if you're spending time thinking about all these things you're not, right? Well, I don't have the job that I want. I don't look how I want. I don't make the amount of money I want. I don't live where all these things you're not. Check out those 2 episodes from April 5th and April 28th. I feel like so much of what goes on day to day in a lot of these support groups can be covered off by those 3 or 4 episodes. And remember, the amount of time you spend worrying, the more time you spend worrying, it compromises your ability to think clearly. Take a little bit of time to stop worrying, eyes up, look towards the future, and write a future that doesn't terrify you. It's not here yet, so you can't say if it's good or bad. It's up to you. I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to get in touch through Facebook, through Instagram. Drop a review on Apple Podcasts. Leave a Q&A on Spotify for me. Would love to hear from you. Comments on YouTube are always appreciated. The marijuana episode seems to be getting a lot of traction, so check that out if you are looking to, improve your habits around marijuana. We're going to keep on going. Again, my thanks to you, the listener and the viewer. And until we speak again, please remember, better is possible.